Iron Mike Tyson versus Ernie Shavers, going out to Gary. This is a tremendous fight between two hard-hitting heavyweights. And before I go on, I just want to apologize to Gary. Honestly, I can't remember if I did this video or covered this fight. I noticed that it was requested a year ago, so if that's the case, I do apologize for taking so long to get around to it. I'm getting better about staying on top of my requests, and if I haven't got around to your requests yet, feel free to send me a reminder. Hey man, you haven't honored my request yet. Call me on it and I will get that video up for you. But I do thank you for your patience, for your requests, and for participating in the channel. Mike Tyson versus Ernie Shavers. Let's get into it. Of course, Mike Tyson was more of a star. I feel that Mike Tyson had more natural abilities than Ernie Shavers. I feel that he was more talented, that he was quicker than Ernie Shavers. And of course, Mike Tyson is known for his blunt force trauma power, his great head movement, his footwork, his ability to get in on the inside against longer opponents. But Ernie Shavers is also known for his raw power. He's known for his fight against Muhammad Ali, and he's just known as a hard hitter. So once again, this is a tremendous fight between two hard-hitting heavyweights. I think this would come down to who lands first, who gets off first. I think that Mike Tyson would get to Shavers before Shavers got to Tyson. And here's the thing. Shavers may have just as much power as Mike, or he may have more power than Mike. But the thing about Tyson is he didn't waste any time. He doesn't waste any time. As soon as the bell rings, here he comes. So you would have to survive his attack within the first few seconds of the round. You would really have to survive it. I mean, he just came at you. He didn't give you any room to breathe. And he was just on you like a pit bull. So that overwhelmed most of his opponents. That flustered most of his opponents. And which is why he was so successful with it. Which is why he scored all of those early knockouts, those first round knockouts. That's the signature of Mike Tyson, those first round knockouts. So it's going to take a jab. Ernie Shavers has a decent jab. I wouldn't put him up there with the great jabbers like Larry Holmes, Lennox Lewis, Vladimir Klitschko, and fighters like that. And Ali had a great jab as well. But you would need to keep Tyson at bay. You would need to keep Tyson honest. You would need to let Tyson know that, hey, you're not just gonna run in on me and bully me. And that was another big thing with Tyson. In Tyson's game, his arsenal, his ability to intimidate his opponents. A lot of those guys were already beaten before the fight, before the first bell rang. So would that be Shavers? And that's a big part of the fight. You know, that's something that would need to be determined. Would Shavers be intimidated by Mike, or would Shavers stand his ground? I think Shavers fought the better level of opposition. But it's just that speed of Mike Tyson, his ability to get to you early, to get to the body early, to work downstairs, to set up the big left hook upstairs, or the big right uppercut, big left uppercut. So I'm not sure. Tyson would definitely need to be at his best to beat Shavers. He can't come in undertrained. He can't come in not focused. So I'm going to have to go with Iron Mike in this particular contest. I could be wrong, but I just think that the speed factor, his ability to get close real fast would work to his advantage in this fight. So I'm going with Iron Mike Tyson by late knockout. Let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next video. In this boxing era, we are living in the age of excuses. We just can't give credit where credit is due. There is always a reason besides a particular fighter being the better man that night and legitimately winning a fight. There has to be something. A fighter is injured. Their shoulder is hurting. They were weight drained. They were underweight. They were overweight. They were undertrained. They were overtrained. The other guy cheated. The other guy was on PEDs. So on and so forth. Now, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't know if the guy is injured or not. But I can guarantee you this. If the same fighter that claimed to be injured won, you wouldn't hear anything about the injury. I've never really heard anyone mention an injury that won the fight. The injury is only an issue when you lose. So my thing is, if you're really that hurt, don't take the fight. If you take the fight, you're letting us know, or you're communicating to us that you're okay. But if you lose, oh, now I had an injury. But if you would have won, you would hear nothing about that injury. I guarantee it. Now, with that being said, boxing is a brutal sport. So the fighters are injury prone, unfortunately. I respect what you do. And any fighter that has a serious injury, I always wish them the best. I always wish them a speedy recovery. And at the end of the day, I just want everyone to be okay. But my issue is when it's used as an excuse to discredit the other fighter. It's used simply because you don't want to accept the loss. You're not man enough, woman enough, whatever, just to accept the loss. And fans are getting bad about this. Fans are getting bad. According to Canelo and Floyd's critics, they don't have one legitimate win in their whole entire career. They cherry-picked. Their opponents had an injury. Oh, their opponents is this and that. And PEDs are always brought up, which is speculation to me, which is why I don't really get into that debate. But come on, people, we can do better than this. If boxing is a sport to where the fighters are injury prone, then it's kind of like the risk, right? So why use it as an excuse? Why? Why even bring it up in the first place? Now, if you're going to bring it up when you win, okay, but it's only mentioned when a fighter loses. So, now I'm not saying that these things don't play a role at all, but for the most part, I don't think it does. I don't know everything. I'm not in there to tell you the truth, but it's just the way that it's done. It's just the way that these fans are quick to resort to conspiracy theories as to why the fight didn't happen the way that they wanted it to happen. That's life. Things won't always go your way. Your guy won't always win. I'm a big Wilder fan. Tyson Fury won the second fight and the third fight fair and square. There's nothing I can say. I wanted Wilder to win. I wanted my guy to win. I'm a big fan. But it is what it is. You live to fight another day. I mean, and some people gave me a hard time about my prediction. We tease each other about it and we laugh about it, whatever. But Tyson Fury was the better man both nights. I'm proud of Deontay Wilder for going out on his shield in both of those fights. Managing to knock Fury down twice. So he went out like a warrior. So I had even more respect for him that night before I did when he was undefeated. It's just the nature of the beast. You win some, you lose some. No excuse needed.